Hey guys, it's Vanessa. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about recovery, the highs and the lows. There will be a lot more lows at first, but I promise you there are going to be highs. Once you start to see improvement, you can't turn back, and you're going to be so happy, and you're going to continue to heal and recover until you're fully cured for most people. So the one thing I wanted to mention first is that recovering from surgery versus recovering from Cushing's syndrome is different. Okay, the recovering from surgery is really fast. Like my wounds healed really fast, and I started like walking again, like in 3 days, 2-3 days. I was fine. Actually, I think I was walking the next day, even though I was really dizzy, so I was on like a wheelchair. But overall, it took me like maybe 8 weeks for my wounds to fully heal from the surgery. Recovering from Cushing's is a lot slower and a lot more trying than surgery. So it took me 18 months to fully recover from Cushing's. The reason why is because I had a tumor on my adrenal gland, and they had to remove the full adrenal gland to get rid of the tumor. So I was not producing any kind of hormones that the adrenal gland would be producing. So basically my adrenal gland, my remaining one, wasn't producing any cortisol. So I was put on hormone replacement, which was hydrocortisone pills, which is, in another word, you can call it steroids. There's a lot of words that you can use to say, hormone replacement, hydrocortisone. I was on the brand Cortef. And I think I was on some generic brands too, but I wanted to talk about tapering off of the medication. They started me off after surgery at 40 milligrams. The doctors told me to wean very slowly off of the medication. However, I was very stubborn, and so after surgery, maybe 2 weeks later, I was like, maybe I should just cut my dosage in half. Bad idea. Don't ever do that, guys. I got into adrenal shock almost. I was shaking, sweating profusely, like I was having symptoms of like a really bad withdrawal. But on top of that, I felt like I was going into crisis because I was lacking, the hormones that I needed, and I could not function basically. So that was a big mistake. I went back up to 35 milligrams, and with 35 milligrams, I was still tired, but I still could function. And so I had like moderate adrenal insufficiency. And you will feel that way throughout your whole recovery, like really like low energy and tired. But you kind of have to take the weaning process very slowly. So I went back onto 35 milligrams for maybe a month or two until I felt like I could lower it a little bit more. It was really through trial and error, but I went down to like 32 milligrams. I would just cut my pills like smaller, and then I went down to 30 milligrams within the next few months. And then if that felt okay, I would stay there for another month or two, and then go down to 27 milligrams, then to 25, then to 20 in like a few more months. Like it was just like month to month, I was trying to like lower my dosage down. So the whole goal is to lower your dosage down to the lowest point where you can function, and challenge your remaining adrenal gland to wake up and create cortisol again and all the other hormones. So I was tapering that way, and I was very tired. Once I got to 10 milligrams, I just remember feeling like I couldn't go any lower than that. I felt like I hit a wall. It was actually really hard for me to taper any lower than that. So I kind of stayed there for a while, and I was comfortable with 10 milligrams. Even though I really wanted to recover, I felt like it was taking me forever and I would never recover. But it was not only until I was invited by Novartis, a pharmaceutical company, to join them in New Jersey, and I went to New York too, to New Jersey to have a Cushing's advisory board, where I met like a lot more other cushies, and we just discussed about like, topics regarding the disease and, recovering and treatment for that too. And I really got to meet a lot of amazing women there, and they were all very strong. They were all older than me, and I felt like I was probably the youngest out of the group. There was another younger girl, but I think she recovered too. They all basically were like recovered. And some of them were still like, they had pituitary tumors, so they were still struggling with recurrence and stuff like that. But they were all so strong. We all shared our stories to each other, and I just felt like maybe I'm being just a baby when it comes to like weaning off of the steroids, the hormone replacement. So after the trip, I was very inspired to be a little bit stronger, and I told myself I'm gonna go down to 5 milligrams. So I went down to 5 milligrams, and I felt like complete shit for maybe 2-3 months. But something magically happened that I challenged my remaining adrenal gland to finally produce cortisol. So I was, during my last blood test, the doctors told me that my adrenal gland did wake up and I was fully cured, and I could get off of the steroids. And I was just like, that was so surreal, and I was so happy that day to find that out, because, you know, after years of struggling, and then after, you know, having Cushing's, and then surgery, and then going through recovery, you know, you just can't believe that's it, you know, like, you're done with it, you know. You kind of get attached to feeling like the victim and feeling sick for a while, but it felt so good to just hear the fact that I'm fully recovered. And where am I going with this? I just talk about my symptoms. Okay, so symptoms of recovery is you're gonna be tired a lot. You're gonna have adrenal insufficiency. Okay, you're going to feel tired. You're gonna sweat a lot. You're going to be depressed. You're going to sleep a lot. So the insomnia is gonna completely go away. You're gonna sleep so much, and you just don't even want to get out of bed. You're like lack of motivation. And overall really low, and just like tired and dizzy and nauseous. I think I mentioned that. The depression part of it was a different kind of depression. I didn't really want to hurt myself, but I just wasn't like feeling life, you know, like I just wasn't feeling it at all. I just wanted to like be home. But on the plus side, I no longer had panic attacks, and my anxiety improved so much. Like it took a while though, but let me talk about the improvements. You know, even though you're living with adrenal insufficiency during the time, there is going to be some improvements, a lot of improvements that will help you go into the right direction and not be so sad, you know. After surgery, I felt worse than I, you know, did before surgery. I felt like I was getting worse. I didn't know when I would get better. Like, I even contacted my surgeon and asked him, like, did you take the tumor out? Because I still feel sick, you know. I was just being one of those patients. And maybe around 4 weeks was when I started to notice improvement, that the surgery did work out for me, and it was very successful, because I noticed that my moon face was shrinking. Yeah, my cheeks were like getting smaller, and I could finally see a little bit of my cheekbones pop up, and my chin, my jawline. Also, I started noticing my collarbones came back too, and I think I wrote a blog about that. About like how my collarbones is showing, and I was so excited, you know. So just don't like get discouraged. You will see improvements. When it came to the weight loss, it took about maybe 6 months for me to notice that I was losing weight and overall getting smaller. I didn't gain too much weight when I had Cushing's, but I had a lot of bloating, and you can definitely tell from the pictures, from the before and after pictures. My period came back within 3 to 4 months. I still have irregular periods, but I think that's just normal for me. And when I'm stressed out, I do have irregular periods too. But it did come back. You know, I would get my periods every 2-3 months, and which is a lot better than not having a period for a whole year, which was what happened when I had Cushing's. I went a whole year without having a period, and that just really messed with my, you know, mind and my physical symptoms too. So having a period, every time I had a period, I felt so stressed out but so relieved at the same time, because I was PMSing, but after the period I felt like a lot better. I was improving, I was progressing. my acne improved so much. My acne completely just slowed down. However, I had so much like cyst underneath and like scarring and like just like, you know, pus underneath my skin that it just like was stuck there, and I didn't know what to do about it. So I went to the dermatologist, and they did get me on Accutane, which helped you know, just rapidly help me like heal faster and like push all of that stuff, the junk, out of my skin. And my skin was peeling a lot and exfoliating, and it just really helped me my skin to improve a lot faster, rather than, you know, me not being on it. So I really am grateful to get on Accutane, which I do want to make a video about, because there's a lot that goes on when you take Accutane too. My hair loss, my hair came back on my temples. I had bald spots here, and it grew back. I still have baby hairs. It's still not as full as, like, you know, it used to be before Cushing's, but I'm just grateful that I have hair. I have more hair now. And on top of that, my facial hair, my body hair improved too. Like, I waxed everything, and I just noticed that they were growing in like thinner and finer and not as dark, and, you know, less. So I don't have that beard problem anymore, having a mustache. It's not as bad. Like, it's manageable now. I can just like pluck it, you know, I can wax it. It doesn't come back as dark. Of course, my sleep improved. I no longer had insomnia. I just wanted to sleep all day, so I would sleep maybe 12 hours every day. So the mood and the psychiatric part of it took a little bit longer. I would say after like a year and a half, that's when I noticed my anxiety and my depression just like started to lift. I did not get any panic attacks during the time that I was in recovery. Maybe I did when I would taper too low on my steroids, and, you know, my body was telling me like, oh, it was panicking. So I did maybe have a little bit of that going on. But other than that, I really don't have panic attacks these days. I did have one maybe a few months ago, just due to stress, but that's, you know, that's something in my control that I should have just taken care of myself, not let myself get to that level of stress, put myself out of, like, you know, negative environments. But I do no longer suffer from that, and I am completely off of antidepressants now. So after I recovered, that's when I gave myself the time to wean off of antidepressants too, and that was really hard. But you know, it's better that, like, not taking it now, I feel, is better, because, you know, I'm just not taking anything that's synthetic. Even though I would say that maybe if I was on antidepressants, I would feel a little bit more balanced. I can live without it, you know. I'm overall like trying to live a more positive lifestyle, so it works. Let me see. Tips and advice that I can offer is to take a lot of before and after pictures. So I know that, you know, it's not ideal to, like, you don't want to take pictures of yourself when you're sick because you just don't like how you look, but I encourage that before your surgery, you do take a lot of pictures, so you have something to reference when you are recovering, to remind yourself that you are getting better. Because sometimes I felt like I'm not getting any better, but then I would take before and after pictures and like compare them, and I noticed that, yes, I am getting a lot better. Even sometimes you think that, you know, you've stalled in your recovery. That's not true. Once you take a photo comparing from 3 months in recovery post-op versus 6 months, you know. So I encourage everybody to take before and afters, and not only that, but, you know, those before and after pictures and those success stories are really what kept me going. So when I went online and read about it, watched YouTubes about it, read blogs and stuff, that really helped me. So I really want to share my pictures too, to encourage people that, you know, you'll be okay. You'll end up okay if you just get the proper treatment that you need. Look for improvement. I already said look for improvement. Create healthy habits for yourself. So, you know, try to eat healthy, try to stay active, try to be out in nature. Being out in nature really helps me. There's this tree I sit on. I tried to film a recovery about it on that tree too, but, you know, like, it was just so windy, so like the camera kept falling. But you know, just be outside. You know, take like at least 5 to 10 minutes every day to just go outside, get your feet in the grass, sit on the grass, maybe breathe, go buy water, like just anything outdoors is going to help you feel a little bit more centered and at peace. So the number one thing I would say is to reduce your stress during recovery if you want to have a speedy recovery, and just reduce your stress overall as a lifestyle improvement. I'm really grateful for my life now. I'm really grateful for the lessons I've learned from Cushing's and recovery and, like, you know, all of that. So I'm overall feeling like better than I've ever felt before, and I'm just so grateful for it. And that's my video, guys. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content that I put out, then please subscribe to me, and share this video if you found it helpful. I'm just overall really grateful that you guys watch and are responsive to my videos, and I want to keep creating more videos. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.